That beautiful song is called "Ticket to the Moon," and that was performed, written by my special guest today, Tiffany Williams. Tiffany, thank you so much and welcome to the Friday Afternoon Music Mix. It's great to have you here.
Hey, Greg, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's your manager sent me your music some time back, and I was knocked out by it, to be quite honest with you. And my audience has had some really wonderful feedback about it. So I thought it was time to get to know you. And I know that you're living in Nashville now and singing, songwriting. And I think that you had told me in an earlier email that one of the reasons that you moved there was to write for other people rather than yourself.
Yeah, no, I had no intention of ever singing my own stuff. I just kind of fell into all of this. It was 20, I didn't write my first co-write until we started at the end of 2011 and then we finished it in 2012, I think was how it was. And Jonathan Dean, actually, I have a duet with him on my new album. He was very big into, he won the CMT contest, where he got to play at on Broadway in Nashville. And so he knew all the ins and outs of publishing in Nashville and what you needed to do to pitch your songs. And so I was like, okay, sure, let's do it. And it kind of got, in a freak sort of way that I've since learned is not the way it happens usually. We got a single song publishing deal really quick. And then that kind of became my singular goal for a minute. So yeah, I moved here and I've been here about 7 years, and probably the first 3 or 4 years, I was only writing songs to pitch for radio. And yeah, I've only been performing my own stuff for, I guess, 2.5, 3 years, maybe.
Incredible. Your last EP that came out, which came out this year, if I remember right, from the that's called "When You Go."
Oh yeah, When You Go came out actually in January of 2019.
I
So it's
see.
it's been a minute since I've had something come out.
I played "You Were Mine" on my show last week,
Yeah.
and kind of when I introduced to my audience that you were going to be on this week, and I also wanted to talk to you. I sent you a little note about it that I've been knocked out by your cover art, not
Yeah.
only on not only on the last EP, but the new one that's coming out. And then you have separate cover art on the two singles that you released, which earlier was "Ticket to the Moon," but will be on your new album. And we should talk about that a little bit here. The release date is later this month, and that's called "I'll Be Back Soon." And then there was another single that you had some great artwork on, and I think that's from "When You Go" from that. And then there was another one that's escaping me right now, but there were four of them all together. I wanted you to
Yeah.
tell our audience a little bit about. Did you do that artwork?
Oh goodness, no. I can't do any sort of visual. I'm lucky if I can take a good picture. But
That's
it's
great.
the it's easy to talk about because it's all the same person. She has a company called Brain Flower Designs, and she you can find her anywhere you can find anybody. And she's originally, I think, from South Carolina, and she was in West Virginia when I'm from Appalachia, and so um, she was in West Virginia when I found out about her, and she had done some cover art for some other folks that are kind of in the music scene in Kentucky and West Virginia. I think she actually recently moved to Eugene, Oregon, so she's closer to y'all than she is to me. But her name is Kelly Wills, and yeah, she did. I'll give her some inspiration. Like on the newest one, it was kind of inspired as far as like depth and just overall, visual. It was inspired by this photo I took at a state park because I've been, in our current times, I've been spending a lot of time in walking around state parks here in Tennessee. But yeah, I sent her a picture and she kind of ran away with it. She's excellent. I highly recommend her. Kelly Wills, Brainflower Designs.
They're really beautiful, and I
Thank you.
figured there had to be a story behind it, especially the one with the tombstones on it, which is the one coming out.
Yeah, well, so the thing about it is, so in my first album, I'm really partial to redbirds, the cardinals,
Yeah,
and so I have a male and a female cardinal. on my first album, my first EP, and then I also have one on this forthcoming EP,
Mhm.
or this set of them. And I also have a lily, a wild lily called trillium. I don't know that the colors appear in nature, but the trillium flower is there on each of the EPs. But the tombstones came from uh, this is only a 4 song EP, and one of the songs on there is a cover song by it's written by Daryl Scott, and it's "You'll Never Leave Harlan Alive," and it a song that I've loved for years, and it's been so important to me as a writer, and just as a coal miner's daughter and somebody who has to think about the coal industry quite a bit. That's been a really important song to me, and so absolute honor to cover it and also to have him join me on it for some harmony. And so, yeah, so that kind of, my favorite line of that song is "You spend your life digging coal from the bottom of your grave." And so we wanted to incorporate that somehow, and
It's
so,
perfect. It's perfect.
yeah, thank you.
You mentioned too that you were from Appalachia, and I want to point out that you're from Letcher County, Kentucky.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
know Ledger County? There's
actually,
a
I do. I've worked all over the United States. I've worked in 49 states. And are you from Whitesburg?
No, I'm not from Wattsburg. That's the snooty people are from Wattsburg and Letcher County.
My God, I'm glad I'm not from Whitesburg. No,
I mean,
I
it's all relative. Everybody's got the fancy town of the county, right? Which I mean, we're one of the poorest counties in the country, so we can't be too fancy. But yeah, no, I'm from. It's actually Wikipedia calls it a hamlet. It's
I
called
saw that.
yeah, McRoberts, Kentucky, and yeah, so it's. I mean, I'm to the point now that if you want to say I'm from Wattsburg, you can say I'm from Wattsburg. I don't have hard feelings anymore since I'm not right there. Since I'm in Nashville,
Well, if you were really going to expand your horizons, you would say you were from Big Stone Gap.
Oh, no, it's right across the hill. I've got a lot of people from Wise County, Virginia, which is where Big Stone Gap is, but
I do. Yeah.
some people may know Big Stone Gap from the Adriana Trigiani's book, and then it was turned into a movie with Ashley. Yeah, so I mean, I'll claim Big Stone Gap, Wise County.
Yeah, I have two 40-year friends that are both from Big Stone
Wow.
Gap. So, and I lived in Virginia for 18 years, so I'm real familiar with that area down there.
Yeah.
And like you, my deep roots go back into Kentucky. One of my ancestors, sweet, settled Maysville, Kentucky,
Oh, wow.
along with, believe it or not, and I know you're gonna think I'm pulling your leg, but George Clooney's
No,
family,
I was gonna
and
say.
and also let's not forget Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
And then Clooney's family split off and went to Augusta. And then my family split off and went to Flemingsburg, Kentucky, and then from there up to Central Illinois, where I was born. But
Oh,
a
wow.
lot of beautiful country there. And I noticed that you refer to your home many times in your music. There's to me a sense of longing, if you will, Tiffany, that I notice in your music. And it seems to me like you can. What does that say? You can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. You may live in Nashville, but your heart's back there. There's no
Oh,
doubt.
yeah, well, the title track of my first EP was, it's called "When You Go," and so the hook of that song is, "You can't leave it when you go." And I think I had to leave home to really be able to write about home. I needed some distance and perspective, but I don't know. I think when you're from a place like I'm from a place, and it's not just the place, it's also the culture around the place, and the fact that my fifth great grandfather is buried up on the hill from my house. My people, the Wrights, were WRIGHT, for those of you who don't understand my ungliding of the I. I studied linguistics too, so I can tell you why I say what I say. But so yeah, the Wright family was there before the coal companies came in 1912. And so they were there in the 1800s. I think 1826 was when they came there from Wise County, Virginia. But but yeah, so there's I'm just my whole identity and genes are all wrapped up in Letcher County and Pike County, where my mom is from, Hatfield McCoy country.
Yes.
And so yeah, it's I don't think I'll ever fully leave it. I'm very much tethered to that place no matter where I physically am.
Let's hear one more of your songs, could we please? This is
Sure.
the one you mentioned earlier that's going to be, this was a single that you released, first of all, and you mentioned that it was a duet with Jonathan Dean. This is perhaps my favorite song of yours, which is If It Wasn't. Let's hear that.
I guess now I know what you've always known. This is not all you need. I feel like a fool. I believed you when you said it was everything. Why did you tell me? Why did you tell me it was? Oh, why did you tell me? Why did you tell me it was love? Oh, if it wasn't enough, I would have followed you till all my days were through. But you left me along the way. Was it all a lie? A way to pass the time? I thought it was everything. Why did you tell me? Why did you tell me it was? Oh, why did you tell me? Why did you tell me it was love? Oh, if it wasn't enough. Why did you tell me? Why did you tell me it was? Oh, why did you tell me? Why did you tell me it was love? Oh, if it wasn't enough. Oh, if it wasn't enough.
What a beautiful, beautiful song, and like I
Thank
said,
you.
it's one of my favorites of yours, that's for sure. And let's talk about um, your catalog that you have that's available right now. Your first EP, which came out in early 2020, is called "When You Go,"
Mhm.
and the new one that's coming out this month, which we're real excited about, is called "I'll Be Back Soon." But let's also talk about the fact that there's much more to you than music. I looked at your bio, and you're quite the writer, and you've been recognized and published in a lot of awards. And then I saw that you're also working on your first novel.
Well, I said that back at a time when I thought I was starting in earnest, but I have since let that fall to the wayside. If I'm fully honest, I know the novel I want to write, and I have some characters sketched, and I think maybe once or twice during COVID, I have like gotten these. I mean, sometimes writing is channeling, right? You feel like it's just dropped on you. And so I've gotten some dialogue, some paragraphs of dialogue from my characters. So, I mean, to find working on, you know, um, not as actively. I probably can't fully claim that line of my bio right now, but it is my intention to continue working on the novel that I have started and am in the very early stages of. It's just such an undertaking, and I think I've written some short stories, and I was just kind of starting to get my stride in short stories. And the thing about if you're a short story writer and you submit a lot, it's such a thrill to get a personal rejection. And so I was to the point where I was submitting and getting a lot of personal rejections and just thrilled by it. But then I don't know, it just kind of happens that other things will take over. And so songwriting and performing have fully taken over. And for after my album was released until actually November of 2019, I was working full time, and I've actually gone back to that job as a temporary employee. So I'm working downtown full time, and then writing songs. And the thing is too, like when I get ideas, sometimes they'll come to me and they'll feel like a song, or they'll feel like a story, and I still get both. But I feel like the songs are really, there's more of a steady flow of those these days.
And speaking of which, I think your manager told me that you've got a new full-length album that you're hoping to bring out maybe later this year as well.
Yeah, I've spent a good chunk of my quarantine in studios, more than I ever have in my entire life. We were masked though, so it was okay. But yeah, I'm working with a guy in Kentucky, actually my home state. His name is Dwayne Lundy, and he actually produced Ringo Starr's last solo album,
Really?
which is fun to say because I mean, and then here I am, folky me. But it works. He's versatile. But he's terrific, and he's kind of, Kentucky's secret weapon right now. The music scene in Kentucky is terrific. I don't know if you know of Tyler Childers.
I do.
Yeah, so he's from Eastern Kentucky, Lawrence County originally, and I think he's in, gosh, what is it now? Irvin now. He's in Irvin.
Mhm.
But
And of course, you mentioned Daryl Scott, who
yeah, 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 who has roots in Kentucky, yeah. But there's such a great music scene and music family in Kentucky, and Dwayne is really like, we all know how amazing he is, and are kind of clamoring to work with him. So I'm really grateful that we found time to get together and go to the studio. And yeah, that's my first full length, and I'm really excited about it. It's been so great to have it come together.
well, I know I'll be clamoring after that. I'll be on Art's case to send me a copy of it when it gets
For
released.
sure, yeah.
He's real good. I like Art a lot, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Let's also point out that people should look at your website because it's very impressive.
Oh, thank
And
you.
that is Tiffany, M as in Mary. I don't know what it is, but I want to make sure that they know that there's a middle initial in there. TiffanyMWilliams.com.
Yeah.
Great.
Michelle.
Oh, okay, good. All right, now you know what that stands for. TiffanyMWilliams.com. And
And
the
it also stands for somebody else already owns TiffanyWilliams.com, and I don't think I can afford it. So
scammers.
squatters,
Yeah,
squatters.
yeah, squatters. That's for sure. Hey, you were a school teacher for a short while, weren't you too?
I was for 5 years. Yeah, yeah, I loved it. And, I mean, God bless teachers, period. It is, unless if you've not done it, you don't know.
Right.
It's all consuming. So, but it's also, I don't think I could ever go back to it. but it was the most rewarding thing maybe I could ever imagine doing, just because you have, I don't know, it's just so great to work with the kids and to be able to, like, to, if you want to be a positive influence and a force for good, I don't think there's a more effective way than being in the classroom, 5 classes every day, all, for years, So if you really want to make a positive impact, that's such a great way to do it. And just to be a positive influence in the lives of so many people, but it does take everything out of you. But yeah, I have my master's degree in
I saw that.
English, and so I was certified to teach English as a second language and high school English. And I had enough credits too if I wanted to teach college, basic writing courses or whatever. But yeah, no, I thought I was going to be a professor. That was my original career objective, was to be a professor of linguistics. And I actually did go, I left my teaching job after 5 years to go to North Carolina State University in Raleigh, where they have an amazing sociolinguistics program. And I worked with Walt Wolfram, which I always said, I think if I get something in my head, I do it, even if there's a delay. So I always said I want to work with Walt Wolfram. And so I did for a semester before I moved to Nashville, because I just, I realized nothing was going to move for me in Nashville unless I was on the ground, doing the work and networking. And so, yeah,
Well,
but
you're
that's,
doing it.
well, I'm sure trying.
Your music is just amazing, Tiffany. I
Thank you so
know
much.
that we're going to be hearing a lot from you. You're in that category now with, with Molly Tuttle and Sierra Hull and a lot. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I played both of their music and a lot of others too that are in that. They refer to your music, which, there's so many different terminologies out there now. I mean, you could actually fit into even Americana, but I saw that
Mm.
a lot of people are referring to that as country folk, which is fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
But
fun.
it's just beautiful music, whatever you do. And I know that your career is going to take off. There's no doubt about it.
You're gonna
Um,
make me cry, Greg.
and you'll get that novel written one day. No doubt in my
Right.
mind about that.
I need it to not take off so I can write my novel, right?
that may be that may be the answer. That may be it. My special guest today is Tiffany Williams. Um, I really have enjoyed having you here. Let me talk a little bit about what you've got in your catalog here. Her first EP, which is available, I assume it's on your website, I know, and I assume
Yeah.
Amazon, Apple, all those regular sources, is called When You Go. The
Yep.
new one that's coming out a little later on this month is called I'll Be Back Soon.
Mhm. And that's
And
actually a line from there's not a track called that, but that's a line from Ticket to the Moon.
oh, I see. And that, of course,
Mhm.
that single was released earlier. That is on this new EP
Yeah.
that we just played. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, let's go out. Why don't we with another song from the current CD, and we'll play "Big Enough to Be a Mountain." Sound okay?
Yeah, thank you so much, Greg.
Oh, Tiffany, the pleasure was all mine. And what I want to do is be sure when COVID's behind us, it looks like it's moving forward to that. You'll be on tour, I'm sure. And when
Mhm.
you come up and you're between Seattle and Vancouver, British Columbia, we're right on I-5. Would you please stop in at the station and bring your guitar and come on and talk for me and sing a few songs for us on the air live?
Oh, I definitely will. And let me tell you, my sister was here this weekend because she's moving to Portland. And
Ooh.
so, yeah, so I'll definitely be over your way sooner than later. As
That's
soon as I can.
just know the invitation's open anytime. I'll clear my schedule for you.
Oh,
And in the
thank you.
meantime, thank you so very much, Tiffany, and wishing you the very, very best for what I know is going to be a terrific career ahead of you.
Thank you, Greg.
Take care.